Welcome to The Artist Matters. I'm Alex Rudy, and each week you will meet incredible artists from all walks of life. Filmmakers, writers, actors, painters, musicians, and so many more, sharing their stories to motivate and inspire the creative in you. Whether you're doing it for fun or looking to make a living, this show will help you on your journey to bring out the artist within and letting the world know that your art matters. Hi everybody, it's Alex, and welcome to another episode of The Artist Matters. Still in the month of July, wrapping it up now, and hope the summer's going good for everybody. It's been great so far. And actually, the birthday coming up this week is my stepdaughter, Nicole's. So happy birthday for you. She'll be having her birthday at the very end of the month, July 31st. Hope it's a blast. And looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks, because she's going to be coming to Florida for a visit. I cannot wait. And I am so happy to bring today's guest to you. Her name is Sam Kimberle, another one of the many artists who reached out to me on the Don't Keep Your Day Job Facebook group, where I posted requests for artists. And Sam is a writer and polymer clay maker and jewelry designer. And it's quite interesting. We have a writer who was diagnosed with dyslexia. Yes, she was diagnosed in first grade, so it was caught early on and definitely helped her. Of course, she manages to overcome it and write a lot. She writes poetry, she blogs, she does articles, and a lot of it is through a site called Medium. You go there and people can publish just about anything and actually get paid for it. It's a site I might have to check out. And Sam also does her polymer clay. She always was drawn to it, and she pushed away for a while, and as she got older, she became a lawyer and been doing that for many years. But she began listening to the Don't Keep Your Day Job podcast just this year. It influenced a lot of her. She was very touched by the show, and specifically when the host, Kathy Heller, says you have permission to have these feelings of wanting to create something. And she answered the call and followed the advice of the show. Don't keep your day job. Because last week, she officially quit her job as a lawyer and is now dedicating herself to her art. Way to go, Sam. So happy to hear that. And she seems to be on the right path. She is in Medium, as I said, and she also now has her jewelry and design website on Etsy and on Instagram. And she even goes to craft fairs and farmers markets. And the name of her company is Shine and Marvel Jewelry and Designs. And Sam will give you some tips on how to sell your stuff at farmers markets and craft fairs, as well as tips on setting your prices. This is some things people are not sure about. Are they pricing them too high or too low? She offers some good advice on that. And she offers so much more. It was a really good conversation. I'm so glad I connected with her, another Don't Keep Your Day Job fan. So without further ado, sit back and enjoy my little chat with Sam Kimberle. Hello, everybody. We've got Sam here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you finally.
Yes, I'm excited to be here.
And ready to tell her story. So let's begin at the beginning. Where were you born? Where did the journey begin?
Sure. So I was born in Baltimore, Maryland. And I grew up right outside of the city in the county. Yeah.
What was it like?
So I went to a private all-girls school, which was very lucky because I got some amazing resources at a very young age. And I was diagnosed as being dyslexic in first grade, which is almost unheard of. And as a result of that, I was tutored all through school and ultimately kind of started to excel at writing. And but I've fought a lot of battles, hard-won battles and learned to advocate for myself a lot throughout the process. So it's really taught me a lot about what I needed to do to be able to be successful in my own right. So I've just pushed through, and I've got my bachelor's degree, master's degree. I went to law school, passed the bar, practiced for a little while, and here we are.
So writing, was that your earliest creative outlet?
I wouldn't say that was my earliest creative outlet. Probably more on the art side. Well, not that writing is not art; it is totally art. But more on the visual art side. Doing clay work is probably my first artistic outlet. I love three-dimensional art. I would do found object projects when I was little, but really my first love is polymer clay.
How did you stumble upon polymer clay?
I think it's just one of those things that, it's very colorful. So as a kid, you just see it in the craft store and you're like, ooh, what is that? So that's kind of where my interest started. And then my mom started helping me. I think we got like a little book of things that you can do with polymer clay. And it's just such a therapeutic thing to do as a kid and to kind of start to learn how to sculpt.
What kind of things did you sculpt?
I actually have a little picture of this little dog that I made with my mom. But I made little figurines. All through school, I would use clay in dioramas. You do a summer reading project, and you have to do some kind of creative thing with the summer reading book that you read. Is a lot of what I had to do in school. So that was something I was always using clay for, and a lot of little figurines.
Now, did you take any classes for clay or writing?
Yeah, so for clay and kind of the three-dimensional art, I was in a craft class. I actually haven't thought about that in a really long time, but I was in a craft class all through elementary school, outside of school. It was at this toy store, and they had in the back, they had this craft class that the woman would teach us all sorts of different little projects. And it wasn't just clay, it was a bunch of different creative things. But that was wonderful, and it really developed my love of doing art. For writing, it was kind of a slower burn at first. When I was younger, I think a lot of kids go through that phase of writing poetry and kind of the unrequited love and all of that kind of stuff. And I definitely had that in my life as well. But writing is, it's more of an acquired taste. It's developed with some time, and the love for it is developed with some time.
Now, did you keep up with your art as you got older, or did life get in the way?
Right. So I have always done something. I've always either been writing or singing or creating something visual throughout my entire life. Even at what I would say is probably the least artistic, I was doing the most writing. So like in my master's program or in law school. And I think that all forms of writing, even technical writing, is art, because you have to kind of do this dance of putting together all the pieces of research in a way that's artistic and articulates what you need to without being flowery or overdone, or, not standing in your own way. You really have to put that together in an artful way to convey what you want to convey, in a persuasive way, with legal writing in particular. So there is a dance, there is a beautiful thing that you have to do with that kind of writing, and it is creative. So even when people might say I was at my least creative or doing the least visual art, or I wasn't singing or anything like that, I really wasn't writing for myself a whole lot, I would still say that I've done something artistic.
Well, then why did you become a lawyer and not go into the creative arts as a career?
I would say because I was never the best artist in the room. I was always in like the top 5, but never really the best. I had a lot of academic interests as well, and those were fostered and harbored more in my life. Things associated with stability, skills that I could use to do the stereotypical successful things, like go to law school or get my master's degree. Those are the things that were fostered and harbored in me, as opposed to the things that were hobbies traditionally.
So was family encouraging of your art more as a hobby and not a career?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I mean, if I had really stood up for myself and said I want to be an artist, then perhaps it would have been different. But I think I had a lot of internal dialogue too. I kind of internalized that message that, art's not going to get you anywhere. You're never going to be able to make any money doing art. You're never going to be, a successful career person as an artist. So there's a lot of negative talk that wasn't just coming at me externally. I started to really internalize it.
So you become a lawyer.
Right.
And what kind of law have you practiced?
I did practice for about a year. I did elder abuse work, financial exploitation, so a lot of really, really important work from a civil perspective, not criminal. Did a lot of speaking engagements, which I really enjoyed, and making these issues known in the community was something that was really important to me. And I suspect that will fit back into my life at some point, but right now I'm really letting my intuition kind of take over and lead me the way that I think that it should have happened all along. But I did get on that path, and I did have that experience, and it was wonderful and rewarding, and I learned so much about myself and some issues that are swept under the rug so significantly in our society, but are growing at rapid paces. Financial exploitation of seniors is, I won't go into this too much, but the financial exploitation of seniors is one of the highest growing crimes in this country.
Well, then you felt an urge, a desire to see that there's more to life than just this. What was that? Was there a pivot? Was it something that you saw or listened to that said, I need to get back to my creative side?
Yes. So as important as I felt like the work I was doing was, there was always this little voice in the back of my head saying, but this isn't your work. This isn't the thing that you're meant to be doing right now. And I kept pushing that away and saying, but someone needs to do it and no one's doing it. So it has to be me. And then the voice kept getting louder and louder, and I just couldn't ignore the voice that, this wasn't my work. This, as important as it was and as knowledgeable as I am about it and as passionate as I can be about it, there's just this voice in my mind that's just like, this isn't your work. So I started to just feel that more in myself, and I started to